All right, let's dive into one of the more, I don't know, interesting friendships from CulpaMia, Jenna and Noah. On the surface, they seem like total opposites,
Right.
but we'll see why that makes them so compelling as we go through this.
And using the Myers-Briggs framework, we'll understand how their personalities, ESFP and ISFP, really create this push and pull.
Exactly. So if you already know MBTI, get ready to see it in action. And if
Yes.
this is new for you, we'll make sure you can follow along.
Yeah,
So
so we can start with Jenna, our ESFP. She just lights up every room, charismatic, energetic, always ready for an adventure.
you can just feel it even through the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that scene at the beginning. She bursts into Noah's room, practically drags her to a party. Classic ESFP.
Yeah.
Wants that social buzz and wants to share it.
Yeah, and it's interesting how she uses humor and playfulness to try and get Noah to go. Not direct pressure, but
Yeah.
appealing to that sense of loyalty and fun.
And it works. Noah, being the ISFP, initially hesitant. ISFPs generally prefer quieter settings, deeper connections,
Yeah.
more one-on-one.
But we see Noah eventually agree to go. And this shows something important about ISFPs. They may be introverted, but so loyal to those they care about.
So even though it seems like Noah's worst nightmare, she steps out of her comfort zone. For Jenna.
And it's those little moments
Yeah.
that really show the depth of their connection.
Absolutely.
Now, as the party gets going, we really see those personalities clash. Jenna's in her element, going from one conversation to the next, while Noah kind of shrinks back, observing quietly.
And then there's that moment when Jenna tries to get Noah to flirt with someone. You can practically see Noah's ISFP alarm bells going off.
Oh, yeah.
She freezes up, politely deflects.
This is where Jenna's ESFP impulsiveness creates a blind spot. She's so focused on the fun and excitement, she doesn't register Noah's cues, and that discomfort.
Not that Jenna's being malicious.
Okay.
It's that ESFPs, they can sometimes assume everyone's having fun, just as much as they are.
And for an ISFP like Noah, who values authenticity, being pushed into something like that feels like a violation.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating how she handles it. Doesn't lash out, but uses her quiet strength to assert her boundaries.
It's like this silent tug of war between them. Jenna pulling toward spontaneity and social engagement, and Noah holding her ground, prioritizing genuine connection.
And this plays out throughout their friendship. In the early stages, there's this unspoken agreement. Jenna leads with her energy. Noah follows, grounding their adventures with wisdom.
That classic opposites attract. But it's so much more than that. They're not just filling in each other's gaps. They're actively learning from each other.
Exactly. And that's where the magic is. They challenge each other, support each other in ways that just foster so much growth. Think about it. Without Jenna, Noah might just stay in her comfort zone and miss out on all those adventures.
And without Noah, Jenna might just go from one thing to the next, never slowing down, to reflect or really deepen those connections.
Right.
It's like they each provide that missing ingredient in each other's recipe for a good life. So then their conflict is even more intriguing. As their friendship progresses, Noah starts asserting her independence more.
Yeah.
Remember that scene where Jenna insists on dragging Noah to that underground party? Noah's hesitant at first. That's way outside her comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
But Jenna, classic ESFP,
Oh.
overrides Noah's concerns. Really epic, she says. And as the night goes on, we see Noah getting more agitated, the music, the environment, sensory overload.
Right.
And then Jenna, who's had a bit too much to drink, tries to get Noah to dance on a table, like a line is crossed. Noah's need for space and control completely disregarded,
And she storms out.
leaving Jenna confused
It's such a powerful scene.
because it shows those pitfalls of their different needs. Jenna, with that outward focus, misses the cues that Noah's at her breaking point.
Right. And Noah, who usually handles conflict gracefully, reaches a point where she has to explode.
Let's assert those boundaries.
It's a rupture in their dynamic.
So this is a turning point. How do they move forward from this? Do they drift apart?
That's what makes this so fascinating. They don't brush it under the rug. They use it to grow and understand each other. But we'll get into that more in the next part of our deep dive.
Right, because it's in the aftermath
Yeah.
that we see the true strength and resilience of their bond. Stay tuned. We're just getting started. So we left off with Noah storming out, leaving Jenna kind of in shock. It really highlights how those different needs and communication styles can lead to those misunderstandings.
Yeah, a turning point. You might think friendship over, but that's not what happens.
Right. So how do they navigate this? I'm curious how their personality types play into the reconciliation.
Well, first, Noah needs space to process, ISFP. She's not going to rush into a conversation. especially not when she's hurt and feels misunderstood.
Makes sense. Jenna, on the other hand, you know, with that ESFP energy, might want to smooth things over quickly.
Oh, yeah.
ESFPs, they don't like that unresolved conflict. Don't like to sit in those feelings.
Exactly. But this is where we see Jenna grow. She realizes her usual approach won't work, so she gives Noah space, showing she understands those boundaries.
That's big for Jenna. Shows she's starting to grasp how deep Noah's introversion goes. It's not just about being quiet. It's about needing that alone time to recharge.
Exactly. And that understanding is key to how they make up. When they finally do talk, Jenna doesn't try to downplay things. She listens, validates how Noah felt, acknowledges her own part in it.
Must be humbling for Jenna. Used to being the life of the party,
Yeah.
the one setting the tone. But that humility needs understanding.
Yeah, you got it. This conflict makes them both step outside those personality patterns. Jenna learns to respect Noah's need for space. Noah learns to be more direct.
So those differences, instead of dividing them, they actually help them grow,
Yeah.
both individually and as friends.
Yeah, it's cool how a clash can lead to something so positive.
It really is. And this understanding, it affects everything in their relationship, even their romantic lives. Remember, Jenna's an ESFP, so she's looking for excitement in her relationships.
Right, spontaneity.
Grand gestures, whirlwind romances, always looking for that spark.
Yeah, but do you think that makes it hard to settle down?
I mean, it could. ESFPs in the present moment, right?
Right.
They might have trouble with routine.
Yeah, that predictability of a long-term thing. They crave novelty, get restless if things get too comfortable.
So it's not about a lack of commitment, more about finding someone who can match that energy
Exactly.
and keep things interesting.
Exactly.
Then we have Noah, our ISFP. Totally different approach to romance.
Right. All about deep connection, shared values.
So Jenna might fall for someone based on charm or adventure. Noah's looking for genuineness, trustworthiness, someone emotionally available.
And she's not rushing into anything. ISFPs take their time, evaluate those feelings, make sure it's real.
Not looking for a fling, looking for a soulmate.
Exactly.
So imagine them navigating the dating world with these totally different approaches. I wonder if they give each other advice.
Yeah.
Do their styles clash?
Well, the sources don't really say, but it's fun to think about. I can see Jenna so impulsive, jumping into things, while Noah's taking her time, every step carefully considered.
Oh, that'd be some interesting conversations.
Uh-huh.
Jenna telling Noah to just go for it. Noah telling Jenna to slow down.
Yeah, and even their views on intimacy. Jenna sees it as playful, spontaneous. Noah, it's deeply personal.
Right, so for Jenna, it might not have that same emotional weight.
Exactly. And this shows something important about relationships. We bring all our own baggage, values, experiences, even personality to how we understand intimacy.
And that's where communication is key. And that willingness to understand each other.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing there's no one right way. It's about finding what works for both people.
So important. That's what Jenna and Noah show us. But we've been focusing on their differences. What about their strengths? What did they bring to each other's lives?
Oh, that's a good point. It's not just conflict. Remember, Jenna helps Noah get out of that comfort zone, introduces her to new things.
Yeah, and Noah helps Jenna slow down,
Right.
reflect, connect with her feelings.
They each provide balance.
Jenna, the spontaneity and excitement.
Yeah.
Noah, the stability and depth.
Yeah. And they do it all with humor and genuine affection. They tease each other, challenge each other, but ultimately celebrate being different.
It reminds us that connection isn't about finding someone exactly like you. It's about embracing those differences and creating that space where everyone feels seen.
Absolutely.
This is great. But we got to wrap up part 2. Don't worry, though. We'll be back soon. To explore what Jenna and Noah's story teaches us about navigating our own relationships using MBTI. We're back, and it's amazing how much we can learn about ourselves and other people when we look at personality.
It's true.
I mean,
But what I find so interesting about their story is that it really shows us something
yeah.
about human connection. We're drawn to people who are different, even if it causes some friction.
It's like opposites attract. We're looking for what we don't have to balance us out.
Right.
But it does often lead to conflict, like all those rom-coms where two totally different people end up together.
And that's where the growth is. If we're always with people just like us, we don't change.
Right. We need that different energy, those different views.
Exactly.
To help us see things in new ways. Like, isn't there a theory about that? With teams, More diversity, more innovation.
Absolutely. Different personalities mean
Yeah.
different strengths, different ways of seeing things. It makes everyone think differently, and that's Jenna and Noah.
Right. Jenna pushes Noah out of her shell. Noah helps Jenna slow down.
Exactly.
They balance each other,
Mm.
do you think? If they weren't so different, would they even be friends?
It's a good question. Maybe acquaintances, but I doubt it. I don't think they'd have that same bond. It's their differences that make it work.
It makes you think.
Yeah.
Are we limiting ourselves
Yeah.
by sticking to people who are just like us?
Yeah.
I want to be more open now to different kinds of people.
That's great. And, understanding MBTI can really help with that. It's not about labeling. It's about understanding how people work.
So if you know someone's an introvert, you give them space.
Exactly.
Or if someone's a thinker,
Yeah.
you got to use logic, not emotion.
Right. It helps us appreciate the differences, not see them as problems. And then we can communicate better, too.
Avoid misunderstandings.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful. I have a new perspective on my own friendships now and how those differences can make us closer.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's been great.
And remember, this is a journey. Keep learning about yourself and others. And you can build amazing relationships.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you for exploring this friendship with us. We hope you learned something about personality and embracing what makes us different.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring those connections because sometimes
The best relationships?
are the ones that challenge us.